What's up guys, this is Koen from Ovalo. In today's video we are going to discuss the principle of masterminds. We're going to discuss the format, we're going to discuss like the benefits, who your mastermind member should be and how to find them. So let's just jump into the video about masterminds. First off, benefits of the mastermind. So a mastermind group has three big benefits. The first one is help with setting your goals. Like your goals come from the dreams that you have, like the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan that you have. But having a mastermind like a group of people that help you discuss like what are the specific goals that will help you make those specific goals, like what your long-term goals, your 3 months, your year plan goals are. So the second one is based on those goals you get accountability. So your goal can be, for example, start working out, start going to the gym and be healthy. Let's say your goal is become healthy, then your mastermind group can help you with, okay, so for this week's goal is sign up to a gym membership. So accountability towards actually signing up to the gym membership is massive. Another point is motivation. Motivation is huge, and when you have people around you that are inspiring you to do bigger things, that are inspiring you to do the things that you want to do. For example, with me, I have one person in my mastermind that has been working out for a couple of years. Like that helps me to get started on my goal of that. So that's an example of like how mastermind can actually be motivating and inspiring for you. The last one is insights and advice. So what you need to see is you have a certain problem. You have like you want to get from point A to point B, or you're running into an issue in your current life. What you need to realize is that you are not gonna think about fucking everything that you can do to solve that fucking problem. So therefore, having a group of smart people that actually can help you with that is massive. Being able to say like, hey guys, I'm running into this and this problem. How do you think I should resolve this problem? And like you get ideas coming, thrown at you from other people that have a different perception on the situation. That's very important, that's very helpful for your ability to change the things that you have. So the main benefit of having a mastermind group is having a clear goal of where you want to go to and having guidance and accountability towards where you're going. Okay, now we're going to talk about the format of a mastermind group. I've been in 4 or 5 different mastermind groups over the course of the last 6 to 8 years, and every group had a different format. No one group was the same. So it's normal for a different group to have a different format. So if you're like, hey Koen, our fucking group has a different format, well, it's probably because it's a different group. So every group has benefits and side effects and input and output. So now there's in general 2 types of masterminds that you can be in. One is just an average life mastermind, whatever the fuck you're doing. So a mastermind developed for improving your life, and then we have another option which is a goal specific mastermind. So what you can do, for example, is create a mastermind specifically towards one business goal, for example, or like health. So for example, you could have a mastermind towards working out. That would be an example where you just share the things that have been going on. You run through the training data that people have gone to, like stuff like that. That would actually be very beneficial. So you can do like a very specific one, or you can just be like, okay, I'm just gonna discuss my life. Like that's the type of mastermind that we are in. We just discuss our broad life, and these are involved things like business, health, relationships, all that good stuff. What you don't want to do is set fucking this big goals and just fucking murder everything and fail at everything, right? That's not what you want to have to do. That's not what you want to do. So what you want to do is start off small with manageable goals. Like don't go all out, like be realistic. See like, okay, what did I do last 3 months? What is my baseline? And then add on top of that. You don't have to go crazy hard. After you're proven you can take on shit, you can take on more shit. That's what the mindset you should be having. So let's discuss the different things that you can actually do with formatting your mastermind group. So first off is chit-chatting. Chit-chatting is, I think, quite important and actually a little bit underrated, a little bit underused in my current mastermind group. But it's just shooting the shit for a couple of minutes, saying, hey man, how are you doing? like what's up, how are you doing, what are you doing today, you know, like have you done any cool things. Just keeping track of what your mastermind members are actually up to. So the following point is actually the weekly wins. So here you discuss like, okay, what is your weekly win? We currently do one weekly win, so we just go around like saying, okay, Koen, what's your weekly win? And then the person discusses, okay, this week I did this and this and this, and I'm really happy that that turned out well, or whatever the fuck their weekly win is. Third point is last week's goals. That's really like where the meat comes into the whole mastermind setting. So you discuss the goals that you set the week before. So past week, what the fuck did you do and how well did it go? Did you have any issues? All those kind of things. Those last week's goals, by the way, for us, they are based on our quarterly goals. So every quarter we make specific goals like, okay, this quarter I want to do this and this and this. For example, I want to work out, or for example, I want to produce 10 YouTube videos. That's a for example, those are examples of what my mastermind goals currently are. What you need to do for scheduling your quarterly goals, scheduling your weekly goals, is that you need to have a document. I will link, I'll pop an image here so you can actually see like what is the exact type of document that we are currently using for our mastermind format, because you want to have it structured, you want to have the goals written out. I'm not going to say to you like, hey, I want to do this and this and this. No, it needs to be on paper. It needs to, well, not on paper, on fucking Excel, but it needs to be an online document where you can see like, okay, this week, these are my goals. And from the other members, these were their goals. So you need to have a certain document. Don't overcomplicate it, it's not necessary. So after you run through your last week's goals, you do a member by member. And after that, you get to the next stage. The next stage is next week goals. So the next week's goals is like, you're gonna see like, okay, what did I do last week and what didn't turn out that well? And what do I wanna do in the upcoming week? So you base that mostly off towards what you didn't do last week and the things that you want to do the upcoming week based on your quarterly goals. So that's where the whole quarterly goals comes into. You want that based on that. If my quarterly goals is, hey, I want to be fat, I want to be healthy, stuff like that, or I want to be productive, you make specific goals towards that specific thing. After those things, what we most of the time discuss if somebody wants to share something. So that's most of the time. If something bothers them, yes or no, that's what is going to discuss. Most of the time this is not really a thing and we just go to the next thing. So in general we just have those three sections. So we have like, what are your weekly wins, how did last week go, and what are your next week's goals. So those are the three main points in our current mastermind that we're using. What you can potentially also do is, for example, highlight one person one week. So you would go into depth for one person. Let's say you would take 1 hour for one person and just do fast the other members. That's another tactic that you can use. So you have individual attention and more zoomed in attention, so you can highlight more of the issues. Because our current mastermind, it takes like an hour, right? We do an hour video call, well, it's actually a voice call, so we do an hour voice call, and that's the situation. So we're discussing the last week's goals, next week's goals. So like there are 6 sections. So when you divide that, that's not that much time each person. Like we currently have 3 mastermind members. I've been in masterminds up to 6. So if you are dealing with 6 people, like the amount of time that you actually get is very low. So that decreases how much in depth you can go with people. One important thing that you might want to include is punishments. So I've dealt with this a lot, with a lot of different punishments. Most of the punishments are actually money based. But what you do with punishments is if a person doesn't get a certain goal, hit a certain goal, he needs to do a punishment. He gets a punishment. These are punishments from, we have all the way from getting kicked in the balls to paying like $100. Like those are in general the different kinds of punishment. The reason for that is if there's no punishment, there's no negative side effect to it, people can become lazy because they just take it less seriously. One thing that you also want to do is you want to try to keep it on one specific day. So for us, it's always a Sunday. Sundays are the day that we always have a mastermind call, unless there's an exception. But in general, there's no exception. Another thing is you don't want to have the rule that people can skip the mastermind meeting. Last time I skipped mastermind meeting like maybe once a year. Like that's the maximum. Actually, like if we have somebody in the mastermind and they skip the meeting, they come out with lame excuses afterwards, they get kicked out. Most of the time they also leave because they're like, listen guys, I just cannot fulfill this whole promise that I made to you guys, so I'm just gonna fuck off. I mean, in general, just a bad work ethic and just bad ethics if people do that. But you will run into that. Maybe you're that person yourself. So yeah, that's a big one. You can also put a money commitment on that, though, just or another punishment, because you know the mastermind is developed in such a way that you're doing things that you don't want to do. Like for example, right now my mastermind goal is like waking up at fucking 6 o'clock. I'm not excited to wake up at 6 o'clock. When I lay in bed at 6 o'clock, I'm like, yes, fuck yeah, I can get out of bed. And I'm like, fuck my life, you know? That's me. Like, I don't want to fucking do that. So that's the whole thing. Like, you're getting forced to do things, and we hold you accountable for you to do the fucking things that you want to do. So you get to the point where you want to get. Like, that's the whole main purpose of being in a mastermind. So you get to the stage where you want to get. It's not fun things, but it's things that make you happy in the long run. So yeah, that's a big one. For your meetings, you want to have a meeting leader. You want to have a person who says like, okay, we're gonna stay on point. We have this amount of time. Like if one person is, if we go too long on one specific person, that person is like, okay, it's been quite a while, we gotta go to the next stage, etc, etc. If it becomes too much fun and shit like that, let's say like, okay guys, a little bit serious, okay, next topic, stuff like that. If you have someone who guide the meeting, that helps. Another thing is, some people are beta as fuck, they're not leaders. I'm a leader, but they are not. So they can actually get leadership experience and leading a meeting through leading the mastermind. Questions to ask. You can ask yourself a gazillion questions and ask members a gazillion questions, but questions that you can ask is, what do you have resilience towards? What is the stuff that is holding you back? What would you hate to be doing? Where would you see yourself in 5 years? What would you be proud of if you started doing? Like, these questions get you in the mood of like, okay, what is like my long-term vision, you know? I'll put the link in the bio from the course from Jordan Peterson, where you can do the future authoring, which is actually a very good baseline before doing a mastermind, so you can get an idea of like, hey, listen, these are the points that I'm currently want to focus on, and these are areas in my life, and these are the things that are holding me back. And you know, he has a very good thing to start with, which is called future authoring. Link is in the description. Alright, next section is, what should a mastermind member be? Now you got a pretty good idea of like what a mastermind is and what you do in a fucking mastermind. So who should the people be if you want to set up a mastermind? Who are the people that you want to get in there? So first up, they need to have a similar drive and a similar commitment. You can have an extremely casual mastermind group where you just get together like once a month and skip half of them. That's fine if all the members are similar. You need to have a group that has a similar amount of drive in your mastermind, because if not, there's going to be a lot of conflicts that you don't want to have happen. So what you want is, you want to have people who are driven to improve their life, who want to make goals to improve their life. Often if that's not the case, it's just going to get dropouts very, very quickly. Besides that, what you would like to have in your mastermind members is to have a diverse skill set. So preferably have someone, for example, who's very good with video, and you want to have somebody who is very good with health, and you have someone who is very good with girls, so you can pivot off each other's skills, so you can get good advice on those things. Like, you amplify each other's strengths. That's what you would like to have. Another thing that you would want in your mastermind members is critical thinking. What you want is for them to being able to think, solve a problem. That's pretty much what you want. Like, if you were having an issue, for example, let's say my issue is waking up, right? I have a big problem waking up. How am I going to fix that? Tell me 5 things that I can do to improve my sleep schedule, to improve my quality of sleep, to make sure that I wake up earlier, I feel more rested. That's what you want to have, because if I'm going to ask for advice about sleeping and you come up with, I think you should go to bed, then I'm not going to be a very happy mastermind member. So that's one thing that you would want to preferably have in mastermind members, is that they're able to tell you what the fuck you need to do. And often, like, you know yourself what you need to do, you know, like in this situation I can name things myself, but it's still nice if somebody else says that. It's still nice if somebody else confirms those things. So that's what you should look out for in having a mastermind member, is the fact that they have critical thinking and that they are a problem solver who can actually solve your problems. Another thing that you will encounter if you actually choose to set up a mastermind group or join a mastermind group is the fact that groups are changing. As I stated before, I've been in 4 or 5 different groups with different people, different types of people, millionaires, poor people, very good athletes. You come across a lot of different types of people, and everyone has their own preferences in people, etc., what they would like out of those people, etc., etc. So it's normal that groups are not gonna last, but I have to say most of the groups that I've been in, they were at least 1 year before they split up. So now we get to the stage of actually finding the mastermind members. How are you gonna find those fucking awesome people that you want to have in your group? So there's a bunch of different methods that you can use. You can use forums, you can use groups. There are self-development groups, there are business groups, there are fitness groups, there are discords, there is Reddit, there is so many fucking places on the internet that you can go to find like-minded people. Of course, when you meet a person, it's not gonna be like, hey, by the way, you want to join my mastermind? Often it's like you want to get a feeling for the person, like be like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing in your life, etc., etc., and you pop the question a little bit later. But yeah, you can find a lot of those people online. That's the biggest place where you're going to find them. Friends is a massive place, but watch the fuck out, because one, it can hurt your friendships, because you're gonna see the dark side of your friends. You're gonna see the fact that your friends are fucking losers. Like, it has happened to me a bunch of times where I had a fucking friend that was like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just fucking doing fucking nothing. And I have to give him a speech, and I have to be like, okay, it's not gonna work out. So that's why you might want to watch out with friends, because they can, if they fuck up and things are not going right, it can damage your friendship a little bit. So be very aware of that. But friends are good. I have a lot of friends who are mastermind members. I've been in a mastermind or could potentially be mastermind members. What you need to keep in mind when finding mastermind members is that you don't have to meet in real life. So you don't have to actually see the people. You can also just do it virtually, like what we are currently doing with our mastermind. We just do a fucking call. Nobody needs to go fucking anywhere. Super time efficient, and it works fine. Like, they're in Asia, I'm here in Europe, so whatever. So you can find them on forums, you can find them through friends. You can also, if you have another mastermind member, ask them if they know people that are potential targets for that, are potential could be good members of your mastermind. What you need to think about is, okay, where do people that I would like to hang out, where do they hang out? Or where do people that do the similar kind of work that I do, where do they hang out? So that's it about finding your mastermind members. So now we've covered what a mastermind is, we've covered the format that a mastermind is, like what you need to look for in mastermind members and how to actually find them, where you can find them. So this was your free masterclass on how to set up a mastermind, run a mastermind, and everything related to a mastermind. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment. It's good for the algorithm. Like the video, hit subscribe, hit the bell, do all those kind of fucking things. And see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.